Do you intentionally antagonize someone every time you leave the house? Were you literally conceived in fuckboy mode? Is being a lowlife the highlight of your life? Well then, this most certainly is the video series for you. Yes, you. Alright, before I get started shouting out my boys in the thumbnail, I gotta say hey to my younger brother Guile. Yes, he really backflip kicked the kid, and yes, it was more on a diagonal plane, so we got full extension, and yes, it hit harder than any kick I've ever seen. And yes, I thought Cody was dead, but it turned out he was alive. Barely. So shout out to you, Guile. You know, if you guys see him, throw him a birthday present. What's up? You know, preferably in Hadoken format, like we like. Alright? So, who are these strapping gentlemen or avatars that you see here? Well, starting from left to right, top to bottom, we have Lawful Good, the not-so-cape Crusader. This guy is a saint, okay? His name is Fat Guy No More. Alright? Tell him I said what's up. Neutral Good, the Benefactor. Dude has a heart of gold. I mean, heart of gold, okay? It's true. Hairless 282, alright? Tell him I said what's up. The Furious Nevermind himself, the Rebel, Chaotic Good, you knew it. Lawful Neutral, who dat? Well, that's Eternal Entropy, alright? You see that? You see the balance of it? Yeah, Lawful Neutral, the Judge. Dread or otherwise, you'll have to ask. True Neutral, I never know what this guy's gonna do. Sometimes he don't upload for a year, it seems like, and then sometimes he's mad, sometimes he's telling me to chill out, and other times he's the wild card, okay? Because that's what he does. And who's my polar opposite, you say? Well, there are 3 other alignments, but they're for monsters and villains. And generally I'm too busy giving them the judo chop to associate with them, so I went ahead and I just chopped that whole section, you know. Had to just knock them down a notch. So, who's my polar opposite? Chaotic Neutral, alright? Red Shift, you know him, you love him. He's a free spirit. Too free, you ask? Well, maybe. Is there such a thing? I don't think so. So, let's just jump straight in, alright? Because that's how we like it. So, what about these alignments, you ask? Well, let me just start at Lawful Neutral. Or not Lawful Neutral, Lawful Good, which is what Fat Guy No More was. Oh, before I do, I forgot to tell you all what subtype they all are. Fat Guy No More, who's Lawful Neutral, aka the Crusader, is a Balance Seeker, okay? Balance Seeker type. It fits. Neutral Good, of the Active Good variety, aka the Benefactor, Hairless 282, Chaotic Good, Good with Nuts, I'll go into that variety, aka the Rebel is me, and Lawful Neutral with Authority First and Foremost variety, aka the Judge, is Eternal Entropy. And True Neutral of the Indifferent to Order versus Chaos variety, aka the Wild Card, Fester the MGTOW, and Chaotic Neutral of the Anarchist variety, aka the Free Spirit, is Red Shift. Now, why did I go through that like that? Because those subtypes are carefully selected. So if you're one of these people, listen to it, because I'm telling you, it fits like a glove. You are that, alright? So, I mean, really. So if you guys are wondering if you can pigeonhole someone's personality into a tabletop character, you can if you dig enough. Alright, you can. Just try. So, good characters and creatures protect. Good characters and creatures protect innocent life. Alright? Like yours truly. And everybody listed that was on the good alignment. I know for sure that's the type they are. So, and most of the neutral, if not all of them. But, you know, we never know. I'd have to ask them about their stuff. I'm not going to, but okay. Good characters and creatures protect innocent life. Evil characters and creatures debase or destroy innocent life, whether for fun or for profit. So, People who are neutral with respect to good and evil have compunctions against killing the innocent, but lack the commitment to make sacrifices to protect or help others, right? So they don't necessarily want to kill anybody, but if they had to, they probably would, you know. And they don't necessarily go out of their way to help other people. They'll help people in their way because they're neutral. I mean, they're not going to run over there and, ooh, you know, what can I do? And they're not sure not going to trip some old lady for fun. They're neutral, right? And I know a lot of people like that. But they have their you know, upsides too. Because if you ask them about something, they're not going to, you know, lean one way or the other. So people who are neutral are committed to others by personal relationships. We all know people like that, where they're like, I don't care if he's being robbed, but you rob my people and it's on, right? Plenty of people like that. So being good or evil can be a conscious choice. Theoretically, you know, I could do something evil on accident, right? I mean, like, you know, accidentally kill someone, that's doing something evil on accident. But, you know, and I guess I could, you know, trip, fall, and donate some money to charity on accident, and then just be like, you can keep it since it fell in the bucket. But generally, doing good or evil is a conscious choice. For most people, though, being good or evil is an attitude that one recognizes but does not choose, right? So it's more like a subconscious thing, to where they're not like intentionally do-gooder types or intentionally, you know, just doing bad, but they've already settled in their mind. They just don't quite realize it, that when something really, really wild happens, they're going to go one way or the other. You know, some of them might even think they're bad and then they go good, and some think they're good and they go bad. Or brave, coward, brave, you know how people are. They'll be like, oh, I'm like this, and then they're really not, because they just don't. Either they purposely chose not to realize it, or they subconsciously know, but they don't consciously realize. So animals and other creatures are creatures meaning animals, and like, I guess, fictional creatures, are incapable of moral action and are thus neutral rather than good or evil. Right? Bear's gonna bear, squirrel's gonna squirrel. They don't really when it comes to right and wrong. Some squirrels are less evil than other squirrels, and right, I know this for a fact. You know, there's that one squirrel who wants to throw the nuts at you when you're walking by. You're like, I ain't even doing nothing. And then there's that other squirrel who will be like cool and almost let you pet it, right? Or share, or eat out of a person's hand. So there's almost good and almost evil squirrel, but they don't push that far. And I'm sure bears are the same way. So law, you know, etc. Mountain lions, for instance. Law implies honor, trustworthiness, obedience to authority, and reliability. On the downside, lawfulness can include closed-mindedness, reactionary adherence to tradition, judgmentalness, and a lack of adaptability. Those are basically my issues with them. All right. Chaos implies freedom, adaptability, and flexibility. On the downside, chaos can include recklessness, resentment toward legitimate authority, define legitimate, by the way, arbitrary actions, define arbitrary, and irresponsibility. I mean, who's to say what my responsibilities are? Basically, it's a list of things that could potentially be wrong with me, alright? So, neutrality on the lawful chaotic axis is usually simply a middle state, a state of not feeling compelled, that's the operative word, toward one side or the other. 9 distinct alignments define all of the possible combinations of the lawful chaotic axis with the good-evil axis. Alright, 9. 3 are for, you know, monsters and villains, so I didn't, I didn't include them. So, a chaotic good character, which is my alignment, does what is necessary to bring about change for the better, but disdains bureaucratic organizations that get in the way of social improvement, and places a high value on personal freedom, not only for oneself but for others as well. I can't stand people being tyrannical and forcing me to pick up the loose ends or whatever, take the burden. Chaotic good characters usually intend to do right, but their methods are generally disorganized and out of sync with the rest of society. I'm of the good with nuts variety. This type is basically crazy, but they are without a doubt a good person, fighting the good fight and supporting their friends. A hero can order them about as much as they like, but they have no obligations to follow his orders. Who needs a plan? Just aim and fire. At the same time, their chaotic nature may mess up enemy situations where they don't feel like working with a bad person even under orders. Been there. This type of chaotic good likes to mock their enemies with euphemisms. Their insanity often results in them hating evil and fighting it with even more fervence than any other type. Sometimes optimists can also count as such.
In a world where gold is king, an anti-hero without money bows to no man. During a time of universal upheaval, only one thing is certain. Everything you know is wrong, now more than ever. At this forgotten time, a weaponless warrior stands alone, defiant until the end. After all, a true hero is not always the strongest man. Sometimes he's just the one who leads the way.